17 on the agenda, which is budget workshop. I know last time we kind of went through all the easy stuff, and was that? Okay. But anyway, whoever wants to go, I know that we wanted to have discussion over JP1, JP3, district clerk, Leonard. I know our two constables, we want to talk to them in the class, so it's just, the way we're trying to do things this year is just look at what offices are pretty much going to stay the same, and then what offices are requesting more. Once we kind of get the wants separated from the needs, then we'll go back and look at where money was budgeted last year that hasn't been spent, that hopefully won't be spent, so that we can see kind of what's going back in the kitty. Prioritizing, we're kind of looking at cost of living being more important than y'all. I mean, everybody's input here is important, but if we look at a cost of living, which we didn't get to do last year, allow that to be more important. We still want to address the salary positions, hiring amounts, and stuff like that, and try to get things more balanced. And we looked at, out of all the counties in the state, who fell between 19,000 and 21,000. And we pulled those counties, and I think Kelsey and Mandy have a list of what their pay grades are, from their elected officials down to every position. And so that's going to be beneficial for us. So I mean, we want to hear what you have to say today, but as far as how we're kind of going about budget is, one Stan gets information that he has to have, he comes back and tells us once we know what the certified tax roll is and what that's going to convert to and look like at a no new revenue rate, then I think we can visit those more complicated areas to discuss. But right now it's just trying to see, we made a lot of purchases this year that were purchases that shouldn't have to be made next year. We replaced a lot of air conditioners, a new castle unit for the walk-in freezer, roofs, so we've done a lot of things that hopefully, we won't incur those expenses next year, which kind of allows that to be extra money when we look at that money revenue. And so anyway, just anytime somebody puts a lot in their package, I think it's just good to have a discussion over it to get clarification of what it is for sure, and why, and what's mandated and what's not, and all that. So whoever would like to go first.
I can go first since the
Sure.
JP's mine's really good and mine's not very long. You got your sheet that I filled out. You'll notice I didn't change anything from out anything. The only thing that I did ask for, that I don't usually ask for, is equipment and furniture. I've never bought any new furniture. Since I've been district clerk, I may have bought a new chair because I had to, but I've never spent any money or asked for any kind of furniture for my office. But I'm to the point where I've got to have some chairs.
Is that what's under, Ms. Blake, is that what's under office supplies?
No, sir, that's under equipment and furniture.
Well, I've got office supplies went from 7 to 15,000.
Office
just want to
supplies.
explain some of that too for her.
Okay.
So our office supplies for the
That's
last
right.
several years, their jury summons have been coming out of the sheriff's budget. Same with some of the JPs. There's no reason for their juror summons to be coming out of the sheriff's fund. It needs to be moved over to their fund, and they're pretty costly
okay.
for those.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a change we got to make. The only change, my main change is the equipment and the furniture. I've got to have some new chairs for my machine. And basically, we got computers last year, so other than just office supplies, that's really all I've changed.
I think yours looks good, and what Kelsey just explained, because that was the only thing I had underlined
Right,
here.
right, we had to change the
Clarification,
jury,
so
paying for the jury summons.
I would say that is good.
Thank you.
We up?
Sure.
Okay. You don't ask, you don't get, right?
What page?
This page has got the book behind it.
I did some research. Anyway, so I kind of looked through,
Page 18.
18 through 30.
now, just, I looked through what, some of the other elected officials in Freestone County salaries, and ours is $9,000 to $10,000 less than that. And then if you look at the JP salaries for the surrounding counties, now granted that they are, bigger counties, Anderson and Navarre, but like Leon County, there's 3,700 fewer people than what we have, and their JP makes $63,300 with a $12,000 travel budget. They only have 3 JPs, I'll put that out there. They got 4 precincts, but they only have 3 JPs. And, our offices, 1 and 3 particularly, our activities, case filings have increased a lot. And like I said, y'all know I've only been here since November, but I'm looking back the last few years. And in precinct 1, our civil cases increased 36% over the last year. And that's by far our most labor-intensive issue. It's for Christina particularly. I mean, we get bukus of them. And in 2020, the legislature upped the small claims filing from 10,000 to 20,000. So we get exponentially more than what we did. All of the credit card cases, a lot of it, and it's most of it's simple stuff, but it's just it's lots and lots of time. We've had a 57% increase in revenue in my court over the last, the last year. So, and with that, I mean, it's adding a whole lot more work to our clerks. And, we've had in the past, we've had a couple $1,000 budgeted for overtime, not overtime, but part-time help, because we're not supposed to talk to, people about their cases when they come to us. So we need to have somebody, how much do I want a ticket? Well, that's fine, we can do that. But as far as people inevitably want to come in and ramble about their case, and we're, hey, stop. So we've got to have somebody there, and so we have to have a budget for somebody to come in when our clerks are taking their well-earned vacation time, or if they're, sick or have surgery or something like that. And based on our increases in court filings and the time that it takes, and we're requesting basically an additional part-time person.
So the part-time that you had was for just basically when your girls were on vacation?
Yeah, we didn't have no additional
part-time
help.
No part-time help
No.
to help.
Right.
I've seen firsthand what these ladies go through down there.
Yeah, they do an awful lot, a huge variety of different things. I mean, court coordinator, they do all the civil, everything. And I had a jury trial last week, and that was a huge deal. And then we have cases that get appealed to JP or county court, and Christine has to go, do all that work and bring all that stuff over here, and then the revenue comes up here. Not that this is a money-making deal, but
John, do you still rotate, call
Yes, sir,
Weekly?
yes, well, yeah, we're once every 4 weeks.
One third, four.
Yes, sir, so, and as y'all know, fuel's gone up 50% since January as well. And then when you look at the office staff across the county, you know, our JPs are the lowest paid in as far as the, you know, district clerk, chief deputy, accounting assistant auditor, assistant auditor 1, and assistant auditor 2, all are higher paid than what our clerks are. And I know she has a very wide variety of things she has to know and do and take care of. And so I would ask y'all to consider a salary increase for her as well. I don't know, have any questions for me?
I don't, I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from. I do realize the revenue, that precinct 1 and precinct 3, generates as compared to 2 and 4. And, again, if y'all just bear with us, I mean, we want to make things better for everybody, you know. But just, at this point in budget, we need to get more where we're gonna be, and then that kind of tells us what we're allowed to do,
Absolutely.
you know,
Yeah.
so.
I'm not asking for anything today, we're just,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you know, it's just good to
yeah.
hear,
Thank you.
you know.
we're begging.
We're begging.
Carry on, begging.
So,
I got a question, John.
Yes, sir.
I know that a lot of tickets are brought to y'all's office to y'all's offices and not taken somewhere else. Is there, and because y'all get a lot of revenue, others don't get that. Is there something that we could do that would make that better? That could take some of that caseload off of y'all?
I
Like
you
the
can't,
highway patrols, when they write a ticket, they bring it most of the time to y'all. I mean, would it be better if they sent them, if we talk to them and try to get them to send it to the precinct that the ticket was written in?
well, I mean, a lot of them are filed in, because our precincts cover a bunch of the interstate.
Right.
So that covers that, and then, I don't know that, the criminal aspect of it is the least time consuming and least labor intensive part of the whole deal. So I don't know, I can't answer why that happens.
The tickets, is that a big thing for
No,
y'all?
I mean, no, that's our least,
So that's a-
That's another one.
the civil is the
it's
most,
time consuming.
yeah.
The income comes from the criminals, but
Yeah.
the civil is time consuming. Because you constantly, excuse me, you will constantly get things on the civil from now from years on. So if we, on a debt claim, I could have already did a judgment, but we'll still be getting things for that case until it's final and closed and they get paid for years. I've got stuff I'm getting in from 2012, 2011, I mean, it's years.
And these credit
They go
card
on
deals,
from
it's
there.
kind of exploded in the last
Oh,
few years. And
major.
I've learned that at these roundtables, I mean, it just wasn't approached through
Yeah.
JP Corp until recently, and it's like these collection companies have figured it out,
Yeah.
and we see them through our office as well.
And the bad thing is you won't see as much income come from them because it's a one-time filing. So, and the fee's low. So, you know, they may do twice as much as us, but I may get more criminal tickets than he does. So I show up at a big income, and he doesn't show as much because he's got way more debt claim than I do. Or, you know, or the other JPs may have more debt claim than,
Do y'all,
or evictions or small claims.
do y'all see that these debt claim companies are requesting like you to sign an order, but yet the civil service, the papers were not served correctly? I know
Every
that's
now
one
and then,
thing I
they
have
have
to
no clue
watch,
what they're
that
doing, yes.
they're trying to get me to sound like this person is being non-respondent when this person
But
hasn't
you
even been
can do
served at
another
all.
way. Yeah, there's another way you can do it. Once they attempt 3 times, you can have them do it a different way.
I've signed off on one of those other days.
Alternative service, yeah.
Put it on the gate, you know.
You
Exactly.
have to be
You have
careful
to
though,
be
because there's some shady,
Servers.
you know,
Exactly.
private
That's what I'm
process
getting at.
servers
There's people that
that you can look, I mean, they say this guy weighs, you know, I gave it to the guy and he weighed 150 to 160 pounds, and you know the guy and he's 7 feet tall and weighs 300. I mean, I know you didn't give that to him.
Or he's black, no, he's white.
Yeah.
She
She
had
has red hair, she's got brown hair.
Or they had, one of them, she has fire red hair, and they said that she had brown hair.
Yeah. It's,
Teresa
some of
tried
that
to
is-
get them to come to, she asked them to come to court whenever she was in, because we found the same guy that was serving was doing it on a bunch of ours, that say, we never got this. And he never showed up, he wouldn't show up to court.
But
But we did make sure the company knew not to use them again, so.
on the criminal side of it, I mean, they file a ticket on the DPS, they come in on the computer, and then we get a hard copy, and
It's time consuming.
she puts it on in the computer. But generally, unless, you know, they either goes in collections, they pay it, and some of them wanna go to court, but that's a small percentage, so that's not as time consuming. Anytime any document comes in on the civil stuff, so you got people coming in from the plaintiff and the defendant, and then the civil service people, and every time any of that gets filed, it has to be in. Has to be printed, has to be put in the computer, has to be put in the docket and
Like a
filed.
whole new case.
Right, and it's just, I mean, we've got some of them that are sticking to that notebook there, it's just continuous.
Keep up
on.
with, if they've been served, if they answer, did they not answer, when's the time for court, what's that court, oh, they asked for continuance, continue the court, and it is constant.
And right now, in July, I have 80 civil cases filed this year already, 80. I just hit
From
80.
January to July?
Yeah, from January to July,
That's
I've
probably
had
where we
80
are.
debt claim
Hey,
cases.
John, on this report right here, what is, you got cases added, is that, is this
That's
number
new
right here?
cases.
That's new
That's new
cases,
cases?
that's the, yeah, I think that's the pending cases that we've already had, plus the new ones.
Plus
Should
the
be one
new
under
ones?
civil and civil,
Yeah.
civil, should be separate ones. I'm not sure how he did it, but.
I think it's that, I think that's the
So-
OCA report.
Wait a minute, you got 1,000 added,
Let me
1,073?
see it.
1,073 added cases?
That's,
Where's your glasses?
So that's
I got
that's
new
our.
computer contacts,
criminal?
okay, that's class C misdemeanor, so we have 4,053 pending, and we've had another 1,073 added. And then they cleared 825, so we still got 4,300 pending.
So,
This is your civil,
And then 100, yeah,
147 were added.
Yeah. yeah, so
And
our
that's
civil
just-
went up
That was March to
Considerable.
March,
Yeah.
yeah.
March of last year to March of this year, so.
so let me see this, I'm gonna do a comparison. So 1,073 added cases compared to 110 to 1,581 added cases to 91 added cases. That's the different precincts. Look at the highlighted features. Why are you looking at me? I just want you to look at the highlighted features that I highlighted for you.
Yeah, 25 to 26, we have 133 civils added. And only 2 of them disposed.
I get, the gist of the whole, I guess the point is that the civil is our most time-consuming, labor-intensive part, and that is increasing and continuing to increase, and is going to continue to increase.
The
So,
least income.
and the least
Brings the
income
least
and
income.
the most work on our
More
part.
work.
Is there anything we as Commissioners Court can do as far as to change, like fees?
it's set
It
by the
hasn't gone up
state.
since I've been here. Is it state?
It is some of the state, when I first started, it was 33, and they did increase around 2021 to 54 filing costs, and the service used to be 80 and, or 85, and they increased it to 100 a couple years ago, but they're not using us as service, they're using the,
They'll send the sheriff's department, some constable, you know, they just
Or they
send
use
whoever they
those.
want.
And the constables, that's something they're gonna be talking about is up the fees for
Sometimes.
service. And-
sometimes they use their own private.
Right.
Yeah, all our fees are going up.
I do have a question on, John, on your agreements and leases. It went up $1,900. So, I can explain that. So, Cinnamon got a
Oh, the copier.
Xerox, and
Oh.
last year, they didn't give us any money for it. Well, I don't know how it
We're having to pay for half of it. We use it too, but we're having to pay for half of it because we didn't have it in our budget, so we're having to transfer money to cover it out of
For
our.
data max?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
That's what it is.
Yeah, that Xerox that we have.
It is a data max contract.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we're covering half of it. We've been having to transfer money because we didn't have that line item for it this last year.
Okay.
Yeah, that got brought up right after I
Yeah, and I don't
got
know how
appointed.
that,
So we
and
just-
Teresa wasn't here, so we just kind of went
Well,
with
it looks
it.
like it's paid for, all y'all are paying for is copies. Because
Yeah.
you're paying, like your payments, I mean, for the year, from December to now, y'all have only used $281.12.
So would that fall in one
Yeah,
of those?
we purchased that and that,
Yeah.
so.
So you're not gonna have to-
Better in the copy
Oh, we
they
just
had.
need enough to cover the,
I
that
think
covers
that-
copies.
Yeah.
So what I did on mine is I just averaged out and got the average number and then multiplied it by 12 for the year.
Okay.
Because you're only, I mean, your highest spent for 1 month is $44.
Yeah, we just need something to cover that,
I
because
can,
we're having to move,
I'll print you out this, that way y'all can look over that.
because we're having to move money out of, to cover it.
That would be more on software, not necessarily,
Guess what, we leasing anymore, right? Shall pay for it up front?
Yeah, so there's no lease on it, the only thing they're paying for is the
Right, we purchased-
copies.
yes.
Yeah, so it's about, your highest month is $44.
It's just per page, the
They
charge
just
per
pay us, they're charging us per page.
After so many pages, then
You
you
get so
get
much
charged
more.
per page.
Yeah, they
So
just-
I don't know how much
We
you
bought the
print,
machine,
Yeah.
and
but,
they still charge us for the print.
I mean,
Well, they
your
give us
highest
paper.
month, you pay
Well, that's-
$44.
They provide the
Okay.
They
ink.
provide the ink, Richard. They do provide the ink.
yeah. It's a good deal. I mean, it's way
I knew
better
it was
than
a
what we've
joke,
had in the
but-
past.
It's just
Yeah.
kind of hard to find a buy machine, you still get paid.
It's like a maintenance
Yeah,
contract.
yes, it- I-
Pardon me?
It's like a
I-
maintenance contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, yes ma'am,
Yeah.
yes ma'am.
On their LGS, is it gonna be put on our software page if we change that this year?
Yes, so did y'all budget for LGS?
I have zero clue what we need.
I don't
Yes,
see
they
it.
don't,
I don't see it.
yeah, they don't,
Okay, I didn't think, because I didn't see it,
Yes,
which,
yeah.
that's fine,
Yeah.
because, you know, that's one thing that we wanna change is
Yeah.
maybe taking these,
softwares.
user per seat and however many seats and the different software costs and have a fund for software. So that it's not putting your budget, not having to come out of your budget, but it's just gonna be easier for us to track and keep up with by the time the next budget goes.
Well, if we, speaking of that, if we were to add another position, or even when we do have part-time people come in, it costs to have an extra user to LGS. I kind of wouldn't mind having that. That way, if we have a part-time or somebody filling in, they can use that different logon. That way I know who did it. You know what I'm saying? We know, okay, Sammy went there that day, I didn't touch it. We kind of know who to
Accountability.
ask.
Yeah,
But I know it's expensive to have an extra log-on person, or, you know, so, but if we were to have something, that would be nice to have, if, you know, for us at least.
so can we find out how much a user seat costs and see?
I just know in the past it's been expensive, but, you know, yeah. You want to talk about your pay as far as being, I can't tell if Jerry did.
Oh, no, yeah, and I didn't even realize this until I was going through this, but, so I guess there was a raise in the last couple of years,
Not last year.
2 years
not
ago.
last year. Anyway, so I'm making a little over $2,000 a year less than the next most recently elected JP. And evidently, when I got appointed, I didn't start at that new base salary. I started back at whatever it was before the previous raise.
Thank you.
The salary doesn't follow the position, it follows the person.
Okay.
The COL.
Okay, well, I'll work for the state for so long.
The same thing, our treasurer suffered the same thing.
Okay.
She come in and just did bad timing,
So,
you know.
Well, okay, I mean, I worked for the state for so long, I mean, the position is, you know, so.
Maybe they were more.
But I think that's kind of what he's talking
That's
about.
That's possible.
Yeah, what he's talking about with salary is what we're gonna try to do is look at those other counties. Because the way it is right now is everybody's gotten raises every year, right? raises aren't given off of,
Performance.
they should be given off of performance and your work output. So what they're trying to do is cost of living, because that's what should be across the board. So not raises. So we're looking at going by position and not just right now our salary grades are, if you're a clerk, this is what you get paid.
Right.
Not every clerk in the county does the same amount of work.
Amen.
So we're gonna
Amen.
look at taking those positions by JP clerk instead of just a general clerk or, you know, assistant auditor by that position and not necessarily such a broad position for everybody. So that is something that we're,
I add to that, so I've been a clerk for almost 7 years. So all the other clerks called me, like I had JP Ford call me and she's like, how do I do an appeal? And I had to walk her through how to do an appeal. They all come to me and ask me how to do stuff. All of them.
She's very, very, very knowledgeable.
And, but also out of the 7 years you've been here, you've probably gotten at least 5.
We didn't get one, the first time we got a raise, it was like a 2 or 3%. It wasn't much because I started off at 30,000. It wasn't,
Prior to 21.
yeah, because I started at 30,000 is what I started at, and that's higher than, I mean, that's lower than, but maybe 2 years we didn't get a raise out of the 7 years. I'm saying, I think maybe out of the 2 years we didn't get a raise.
Well, speaking of that, I don't know if y'all, I kind of wrote a little letter to y'all, just kind of explaining what I have in there and why I requested what I requested. We all, like John kind of said earlier, we're the lowest paying elected officials in the county, and we do a lot. I don't know, I mean, a lot. We get called out all times, which is what I signed up for. I love my job, I have no issue with that. But, I mean, there's times I get called out, last night being one of them, to come do a warrant because they'd rather me do the warrant than the JP that's on call. I have no issue with that, I don't mind doing them, and I will jump up and go do it whenever they need me to. But I do think that we should be at least paid for what the other elected officials make. I mean, we're at the lowest right now. So I'm thinking 62.5 is what the other positions are. It's the lowest of the positions. My clerk, Tambra, she came in just like anybody else starting new as a clerk, and she makes $33,200. And I think that she should at least make $40,000. I don't think there's any reason why she shouldn't. She's dependable. She's always at work. She does a great job. She handles the stress very well. And being that my office has went from in 24 to 25, we went from 248,164 to last year up until May to this year 323,000. So every year since I've looked at it, every year since I've been in office, it has done nothing but go up. We have increased our revenue to cover basically everybody's budgets for other offices also. Looking at their income, I don't know how we're even keeping the positions even open because they're not bringing in the income.
They're not covering their
They're on
clerk.
budget. I had said something about, just because I'm just thinking, not because I expect it, but the longevity pay, other counties don't have a cap on it. We have a cap of $1,200. You can be here 20 years and get $1,200 longevity pay. I just think it's older and maybe we need to up it and maybe cap it out at $2,400. That was just a kind of me kind of guessing kind of thing. And I believe that's it. I did have a recommendation letter in there from our constable that says he did see and does see what all Timber does, and him recommending that, he thinks that she does. And I did give you guys also all the budgets, like Leon County, Monroe County, all that, so you can kind of see what they pay theirs and what their increase is for the gas. Leon just jumped it up. They said all the elected officials should make the same. And I know that because my daughter works there. She gives me the inside. But I have that, and I've got, like I said, I gave y'all all everybody's budgets from around. We kind of did our homework, just kind of looking at everything together. I think that's it. Do you have any other questions?
Y'all know how we're going to kind of go
I
about
totally get it.
So
I totally get
that's
it.
the,
All we can do is ask you, and then y'all can just,
That's right.
do
That's
what
exactly
you can. But I do need, no matter what way you go with the part-time, I need more part-time. I've been out of part-time money since March.
Yes.
I have been out, and I got it in October, and I don't know where I'm gonna keep getting my money from. I'm out.
Like, I still have 70 hours of vacation that I can't take because we have no
Have y'all been out too?
Yeah, she had surgery in October, so that's part up.
1,200 is just not cutting it, or 1,500, whatever we have, we don't
Because it's
have
like,
that.
it's $120 a day to have somebody come in and work for us.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's,
If we
we
keep
had,
paying
I
the
mean,
15,
like,
if we go up on our part-time, it would be more obviously, but I think when we went up on our part-time amount per hour, they didn't adjust what we should have part-time in our budget. So we went from 12 to 15, but we kept the budget the same, well, I ran out of money faster, you know, I didn't get the increase I asked
A
for.
lot of
so.
skewed things in the budget last year, so.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, I
definitely
noticed y'all
have to have.
29 hours a week, 3 days, 7 hours a week, and 10.
Yes.
So,
Yes, and right now, we're only paying 15. So, I mean, you know, if I could go up, that's great, but I have to have more money to deal with even with that.
Well, when we can't pay our part-time till 18 if our
Yeah.
workers are making that.
That's what,
I'm right at
that's what
20
Timber
an
makes, she
hour.
barely makes that.
Yeah.
So there's no reason I would be able to pay somebody, I'm not gonna pay a part-time more than I pay a clerk, that knows everything, so. Good point. Good
We
job,
appreciate
John.
y'all.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, thank y'all.
Very detailed budget.
Yeah. You're welcome. Opportunity to work it there, it's not bad. Y'all have a good one.
For part-time, like for a part-time max, should it be the same for everyone? Because if we're maxing out part-time at $18 an hour,
Depending on what the job is.
because it's either gonna be $15 an hour or $18 an hour for part-time. So a maximum amount for those 29 hours allotted for 12 months should be the same for everyone. Just because I know one of them
But
is a little
part-time doesn't
lower.
necessarily mean a guaranteed 29 hours.
Right, right.
Part-time's as needed.
Yeah, I
Some
just
people
got
need
20.
29 hours a week, which is the max.
For
but-
some reason, I just got part-time 20 hours.
Well, and I guess we need to
So
clarify that too.
never knew why I got less part-time.
But I also think we need to see, because to me, when, like the JPs, they're wanting a part-time to come and work this many hours a week, not just to fill in.
Right.
But they can't go over 29 hours a week. So like JP3 has 29,500 for part-time. Well, that's asking for way more than what the 27,000.
Yeah,
that max
27,000 plus backup would be,
Right. So that should be the max. We can't go over the 27 to have that cushion, you know, because of how it's calculated. Just some food for thought, you know?
Right.
Because that would be another $2,500 sitting there that not necessarily needs to be deemed a part-time
yeah.
position.
What would backup be on the 27? 27.5.
Let's see.
Really 27,144.
Yes. That's what I have on mine. FICA would be $1,682.93. Medicare, $393.59. And then, once we set retirement, it'll fluctuate, but retirement is $3,792.02. Part-time's always contributing, it's just an incentive for part-time. it on retirement account. We have to include all employees. Just an incentive, we'll get a retirement.
Karen, would you like to go next?
Sure.
And I'll say before you even start, yours looks good. We had a question, page 32. We had a question as far as if you would like to save the 30% fee. So, we didn't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either, to be honest. At our district meeting, Donald mentioned, hey, if you wanted to bring this up, because how I got put on contract, which was no idea how long ago, been here 13 years, it was when the IRS made you verify if your employees had benefits, if they're full-time. Well, you guys don't cover my benefits, right? They're an A&M part. That's how that gets done. I was still getting a county check every 2 weeks, and then my one check from A&M. So it was confusing. So I think it got moved to contract just to alleviate some of that. But all Dr. Kelm said was you guys are paying a 30% fee to be on the contract. So you're paying a portion into the benefits and things like that. The specifics of that, I have no idea. That would have to be a conversation with him, I guess. How that all works, or I don't even know what the contract says. I've never seen it. I don't know. Yeah.
So we could request to revisit the contract.
Yes.
With
Yes, if you wanted to.
Agri
Yeah.
Life, is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Because there is a base salary to keep a county extension agent in your county. And that's always what I've been. So I think vaguely, however many years ago that was, 7, 8, was about 17-ish. And so you guys are paying in, now it's 20,800. So that's probably that change in that fee. But I said wouldn't know how to explain that to you.
Do you have a copy of this letter? Go.
A per letter? Yes.
Okay.
And even the contract comes from like College Station, like HR and stuff like that. So I don't know if the details are outlined in that contract. I've never seen it. But yeah, that's how that works. I don't know.
Do we carry your insurance, or you on county insurance? You on state insurance?
Yeah, so if I got off contract, that would just put me back on county payroll if you wanted to go back and do it that way. Otherwise, the check gets sent to College Station, it gets put in my one check that I get that way. So I only have,
We
that's
pay
how-
them and they pay you.
Yes,
Right.
yeah,
And on your laptop,
yeah,
we would rather do that, or would rather see us do that this year.
Okay.
And not wait until next year.
okay,
So it's one less
I can
thing we're budgeting for
Yeah.
next year.
okay,
So, as far as if you can get us a quote
okay.
on,
Yeah, there's a
What-
cost share system. The cheapest one was out of stock still when I looked, almost a month ago, so I can reach out to IT or do that.
okay,
They do like to run it through that kind of program, but there's other ways to buy them too, and then they just put all the
and
A&M
we've
stuff.
got some, like I said, we bought so many computers this year.
Yeah.
And so, I can't remember the name of the company we're dealing with, but
Okay,
we would want to do a comparison. and
Okay,
have one
yeah.
Quote, but if
Yeah.
you get us a quote, then we'll get
Okay.
a quote compared to it.
yeah, sounds good.
So,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Elections, would you like to go next?
I suspect so.
You gotta find what page you're on.
I gave y'all each a little,
33.
budget to follow along if y'all wanted to. Our postage, it's been going up a little bit every year because of the fact that we've now got like a little over 13,000 voters.
I've not used all of my postage from last year due to the fact that our new system with our SOS, they kind of messed up all the voter registration cards, that no one's gotten one yet still. So we did put in a letter to our AMG printing people to go ahead and go forth with our printing of the voter registration cards. I haven't heard anything back from them yet. So we actually manually, she and I manually had to go in there and pull streets from precinct 8 and put them back into precinct 1. There were over 200 streets when they switched that all over. And so we manually did that. Then we also had to go in there and manually make sure that each one of them had their commissioners correct, their JPs correct and everything on a lot of them. So we went in there and manually did that also. And so finally, I think we've gotten it correct. And so we emailed our AMG printing people that do our voter registration cards and the mass mail out. And so that was what, 2 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. We haven't heard anything back. So
is that like the second time y'all had to go in and change?
oh yeah, this
So I
system.
know like a year ago.
Yeah, this system came out in July of last year, and it has been absolutely a nightmare because SOS did not check with other states. Arkansas used the same system, and all they've done is gripe and carried on about it and how bad it is. But SOS here in Texas did not listen to that, so they went ahead and got the system. It's absolutely terrible, terrible. So when they switched over all of our voters from the old system to the new system, we don't know how it happened, but just like in the what was that, primary runoff, people were coming in that were Democratic voters, but it wouldn't show up on our poll books. So I had to go and to all the polling locations and say, look, when a voter comes in, before you do anything, ask them if they're voting Democratic or Republican, so you can hand them the right ballot, please.
And they had to use a paper ballot.
Yeah, and it was just, you know, it makes us look stupid because it's like, well, y'all don't have your stuff right. No, it's not us, it's the SOS and team system, and it wasn't all voters. Because I went in there and voted, mine was correct. She went and voted, hers was correct, but there were several people, and I had one lady that was irate, and she came in there and she lit me up under a bridge there and let me burn for a little bit, and then I explained to her, and then she apologized to me and said, I don't want your job. So, you know, but our postage will be going up. It has increased every year because we've gotten more and more voters since, you know, I've been in the elections department for 5 years. So I've asked for that. Our leases and agreements, of course, that's going up because ES&S is going up on all of our prices. Example, our site support, we hire a ES&S guy to come in from wherever. They may fly in here or whatever, but anyway, he'll come and sit with us the entire election day from whenever I ask him to be there until we are completely done. When I first started, it was about $5,000. Last year it was like $57,000. This year it was $6,700 for him just to come. I don't use them all the time. I use them on the more difficult elections, like this last election. I didn't use anybody, so I didn't have to charge anybody anything. But a primary election, I'll use them, or sometimes a city and school, because when I have a lot of entities, that's like running 7 different elections. And they're very, people don't, I never understood why everybody was saying they were difficult. Those are the worst. I'd rather run a presidential election than a city and school election, because they're terrible. So I usually have those in at least 2 times a year for a site support. But I'm trying to get away from that period, so, you know, we are trying to go to more schoolings on making sure we're doing everything correctly and on time and stuff. So, but everything at ES&S has gone up. Ballots, codings, layouts, audio, everything has gone up. And of course, this next year we won't have as many elections as we have this year, but, you know, it's hard to say. We're thinking 2 elections this year, but there might be runoff or something, so that would come into another, it's a whole different election. So, was it 2 or 3 that we're thinking elections this next year? 3?
1, maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
Not counting if there's a runoff.
Yes.
So is the Vista Solutions Group, is that?
That's our, well, we call it the cloud. We take everything, we tell, what it is, this is how I explain to anybody. We start making copies and putting it in the cloud of a person's story from the time they register the vote and everything. When they move, when they pass away, it all goes in there under their name. Just like you have a thing under Lloyd Lane. From when you registered to vote, when you were commissioner, all your COH is under there, everything, now you're judge, it's going there, da-da-da-da. So it's just like, but it's in the cloud. So that's what we pay them for. So we're almost completely through with running all of the old voter registration cards through there that we got from Dan's office. There was 4 cabinets full of old voter registration cards from the 70s, from the 60s in there, and we ended up copying everything on there.
So basically, people that have passed on, it takes them off.
Takes them off, yeah, and it helps too. Because if somebody comes in and, let's say I have somebody wanting information on Andy, I can go on that Vista, put in Andy Bonner, and pull everything, all the information I need up for Andy instead of having to go and try to find the file or what we've had to keep and stuff.
Here's a good example. I think it was last year, I had somebody from another county call and ask questions about this person. Wanting to register to vote, she needs signature verification. Well, I couldn't find him in our system, so I went to Vista, pulled him up, and I said, this person's deceased. He's standing right in front of me and very much alive. So I sent her the copy of the death report. So I said, she's going, what do I do with this? And I said, I don't know.
But we had it here.
But that Vista, that's what, like I did, I went into Vista and I pulled up his death report. And
You got a copy of my death report?
Not yet. We're working on it though.
If you get one, send it to the IRS.
And I like Tig, we need that ramp over there, and I don't know how to order a ramp or anything, but I did put 2 different photos in there, and I wasn't for sure if it came out of election expenses or supplies, so I just put it in both because I wasn't for sure.
How about put one in the middle of the block?
That's where those steps are, that's where I was thinking about putting it, because they have entrance, but it's in the back of the building, and
the other ramps are on the end of the block.
on the ends of the block, so we need that one.
Oh. Yeah.
Mr. Ham, he had a heck of a time. I seen him over back in Orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
A lot of them were parking at the old fire station and walking that there. And that was only, I see the ramp and I talked to the ladies over about it, but if you put it in the middle and somebody park,
We
2
could
parking.
get some cones or something
But you know what I mean?
possibly, I don't know.
How they gonna,
Yeah.
the way that thing parks, you're gonna accommodate 1, maybe 2 without having to walk around,
Yeah.
you have to walk around, I wish there was a better way.
Yeah,
But that would be one more option than the ends.
yeah.
Yeah, the fire
Because we
station.
have the curbside voting now, which
Yeah.
we have to be in compliant with, so when we put that curbside voting sign out in the front, that would tell me, hey, this is where I park at for curbside voting.
Yeah.
And not knowing that you can park down half a block and then walk up, because why are they curbside voting? One, because they can't get out of the car, So, but I did put 2 different ramps in my little dual plotter here, just so y'all can look at them, because I have no idea about ramps.
Yeah.
So, and also, we need new, curbside voting signs. I had to make some for the last several elections, but I would like to get the ones that we can put in. We wanted the actual heavy duty plastic ones, but they're like $200 a piece. So the ones we can just fork into the road and say, this is where you're gonna curbside vote at. We have to have those to be ADA compliant also. And then at the bottom of it, instead of just ordering it like from an election spot, because they're much more expensive. I got online and did some and made them myself, and it just says curbside voting text, and then we can put the judge's number right there on the bottom, to where they just pull up in that spot, text the judge, and the judge can bring out the poll books to them or whatever. So it would be a lot easier. And also, in that sign place, I was gonna try to get some all precincts early vote here, and then signs for each of the polling locations that state Freestone number 10, precinct 10 votes here. And that way, they can see those signs instead of walking in and saying, I'm here to vote. Well, you're not, you're in 1, you need to be in 10. So that would help with that traffic there. And I sent Lloyd, Judge Lane, the presentation on county-wide voting. And, you know, we haven't spoken yet about any of it, but I'm support of it, because I think it would be wonderful.
Judge Feldman over in McLennan County said the best thing they ever did. You know,
And Limestone just went to it.
go to any box you want to.
Yeah. On election day, instead of you having to go to TIG, or you having to go to number 2, or him having, you can go anywhere. So if you're in TIG shopping or whatever, at lunchtime and you decide you want to go vote, you can stop off at TIG and vote.
What are we gonna do to pass that?
Well, there's a lot of people that don't like it because they feel that their box won't get the support that it usually gets. And, you know, can't help that, you know. What we're here to do is provide the most opportunity for somebody to vote.
Make it as easy as possible.
Make it
Exactly.
as possible,
Probably get more
convenient,
votes.
and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's kind of our job, and whether or not. some
Well, it's
people
confusing
think-
to the guy on the street if you live in precinct 1, but you
What's the
live in
nightmare
precinct
before every election? They're calling here, they're calling our cell phone.
Exactly.
Where do I go vote? Where do I
And
go
then
vote?
you've got a
How
voter
do y'all
that comes
know
in
how
at
this box is?
6:45 to precinct 1, and they're supposed to be at precinct 2.
Yeah.
Well, if we get the cards will help,
Yes.
because
But you
nobody
know
had a
what?
card, the
I
first
have-
people that moved in,
I
that's
have learned
people.
one thing about those cards. People know nothing about those cards. Every time they go in to vote, if they have their voter card, they try to give it to the judge and say, here, take it, I'm done with it. No, you're not, keep it, this is
Yeah.
your information.
But it, like I say, but that was one thing we didn't have this year,
Yeah,
was, you know, because with the card, you knew it had your precinct on it.
Yeah, but when you go in there and have that, they say, oh, I need your ID.
I know.
So-
I
always,
always took mine.
always,
I
yeah.
always
That's
did.
what I know.
Yeah, but I mean, this county-wide would, one, cut down costs, because, like, right now, when on election day, I have to program 13 DS200s, probably 30 express votes that you vote on, the poll books, all separately for each of those precincts. With it county-wide, I take one thumb drive, poke it in, and it's programmed. You know, so it would just be, it would be so much easier. I think everybody involved. But, you know, I did give him all the information that I gathered, because Limestone just went to it. And within talking to their EA, Jennifer.
Have they went
she
through an
loves it.
election,
Mm-hmm, she loves it.
so their runoff election
Mm-hmm,
utilized it for the first
Yep.
time?
yep. And she said it was just very, very nice and
Something to
convenient.
think about.
So that's something to think about. Okay, on our education, they are now offering, in December, the city and school law seminar, and then in August, our, just plain elections law seminar. Plus, they're now offering us online and in-person training just around in the areas. Like, we have an East Region EA that we go to every year, so that's coming up. But we're also doing a lot of online stuff too, as far as,
What's that?
yeah, learning and stuff, and TAC and SOS too. So all of that cost, of course, and we're willing to take any of those classes. We do everything. We take extra webinars when they're offered and everything. So I've asked for an increase of that for our education, because nothing's wrong with learning more stuff, you know. And they're always coming out with new House bills and Senate bills and rules that we have to go by, so, you know.
Imagine that.
I know, can you imagine? I thought I was done learning. But, and then, of course, our election workers, we went up on their pay to 15 an hour. So I had it at 30 last year. We've already had to transfer. But I had initially asked for more But with it only being a couple of elections this year, I don't think I'll need any more than what we had from last year. So I think we're secure on that for this year for our election workers pay. So we'll be okay with that. And then office supplies, we'll of course be needing paper, zip ties, seals, all of that. But also I need a new chair. I've never had a new chair. I handed down that from Audra Jackson when she worked at the tax office, and my desk came from Ken Sessions' office over there. So and they actually had to put a metal piece underneath it to hold it together now. So it's falling apart kind of. But I'll be needing that. And like I said, I didn't know where the signs went or any of that, so I also put that in the supplies also. So, and I know y'all have spoken about the raise and everything, but I'm asking for myself a raise again this year. I've done it for 5 years in a row. I've been denied all 5 years. I've gotten the cost of living, and I thank you for that very much. But also, you know, I've worked 330 comp time hours for these last 3 elections. That's a lot to be up there. And some of them were past midnight. Some of them were past 1 o'clock in the morning. I get there at 5 in the morning. I work all day. I appreciate very much the commissioners lending us the road bridge guys to deliver and pick up. That just takes a heavy load off of us, because that 75-pound DS200 is hard for somebody to pick up and deliver. And I used to do that, and I didn't like it, so, but I did it. But if you look at the very back of the packet, there is from the Secretary of State how many voters are in all the counties and how many non-suspended, suspended, and how many precincts they have. And I went through and I picked out some of them that are close to our match of voters, non-suspended voters. That's who we actually send and they come in to vote. I put on the side how much each of their EAs are making and if they have an EA or not. And I am paid significantly less than a lot of that, most of those people, with less or a little bit more voters than we have. And also, I know I'm not an elected official, but I am a head of the department, and I'm the lowest of all. I'm $7,000 to $8,000 lower. And I went from 21 to 25, and most everybody got an $11,000. From there to 25, I got 8,500. That was just the true cost of living.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't either, but it did. I'm not bragging.
I don't think people got $11,000. I don't know where you're getting that from.
I went from 2021 to 2025 in their pays.
I mean, we haven't, the only,
Yeah, I know. I couldn't figure it out either. I didn't know how it happened.
6 since I've been here.
And maybe I added. I don't know.
figured this up the other day.
Yeah.
What throws me off is that year that we done the,
And then we turn around, we yeah. And then we turn around.
split me, one was a sub, COVID.
Yeah, and then we made it
Yes.
permanent the next year.
Yeah, it was like 1580.
15, yeah.
15 is an odd number, 1580.
Yes, it
That
was.
same year, what was the cost of living?
I think it was 25.
Return about what we got every year.
Yeah.
And 21 to 22, 2,500, so not on PTI supplement. 22 to 23 was $2,080 with a 1,500 or 1,520 inflation supplement. 23 to 24 was $2,500. Added in the 1,520 supplement into salary, then the $2,500 raise. And then 24 to 25 was the 2,400 raise, and then it says, I guess to the elected officials as well.
Okay, so 21, it was 2,500. 22, it was 2,080 plus 1,520.
Yes.
How many hours you work a year, 2008?
And then 23,
2,500, and then it says added in the 1,520 supplement into salaries, then the $2,500 raise.
so basically you're saying in 23, it was 2,500 plus 1,520?
That's what it looks like.
And you said you didn't get any of that?
No, I did, I got the cost of living, that's what I got. But I'm not an elected official, so, and I figured I'm fine with that. But for the amount of times, the hours I work, and Michelle works, that's a long time and we stay up there, we train I train on weekends for my judges and stuff and everything, and so I do pull a lot of hours.
How many voters we have?
13,000, well, non-suspended voters, we've got 13,072, I think, or 74. What, you're getting a
Line
calculator?
that
It happens every once in a while.
But there's not an elected official that got anything
Other
that
than,
nobody else got. And that's
yeah, what I
makes
did is
sense.
like, let's say, the auditor's office, I just went from 21, had their pay.
Auditor's
20
office is.
I know,
District
well,
judge,
tax-
we don't have nothing to do.
or county clerks or whatever, you know, I just went to theirs and I went from 21 wrote their pay, 20 through 2, I wrote their pay, 23, 24, and there was an 11,000 difference from when I started to now. That's just all I'm
Elected
saying.
official.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I know I'm not elected, so I know I'm not gonna be that
But
high.
there's still nothing that elected official got that
Yeah,
nobody else got.
yeah.
Yeah, like.
That's what I want to
So,
clarify.
yeah, no, I'm not, yeah, I agree with you. But I'm still paid.
Every raise that elected officials did not get.
That's right.
2017, 18, 20, 21, it says elected officials did not get a raise. The only year that happened was 24 to 25, fiscal year 24.
I just want y'all to know that we do work hard over there. We don't need supervision up there. We know exactly what needs to be done because our supervisors are SOS. And they are on us, and we get emails every day from them, what we need to do, what's coming up, what has to be done, what we're going to do it in 3 months.
Can't get you going.
No, we don't get a rest.
Can't get you going.
So, I mean, it's just, Michelle works every day on that team system for the DPS registering voters every day that she gets. And, it's a constant job.
On your election expenses,
Yes, sir.
on the ballot boxes, is that a one-time deal?
Is that when we bought?
Yeah,
I know we had to get some.
yeah, we get,
It looks like
That-
17, almost $18,000 of the election expenses this year are not going to be expenses that we need next
Okay.
year. That's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
like your full
No,
votes.
what it was is when we bought those DS200s, they came with one blue ballot box. And because of the fact that those ballots have to stay in those ballot boxes for 30 days, locked and sealed.
And because of the runoff.
Yeah,
had to have
in
one.
2
Yeah.
weeks, we had another run, and I needed to do something. 60 days. And so I needed new boxes, so I think we probably won't have to order any of those blue ballot boxes again. I'm pretty sure of that.
And what's the audio?
It's, okay, so like if someone's deaf and they come in and they want to vote, we have headphones and a braille and stuff on there so they can listen to what they're voting for.
So that's a yearly expense.
That's every election expense. Every election, they do audio, they do a layout of your ballots, a layout of the programming that you do on the express vote and stuff. So, I mean, all of that is every election. We have to pay for the media sticks, which when we first got our election equipment, we did get, I don't know how many media sticks, so I just reuse them over and over and over every time. So,
So is that gonna be a charge for this next year, those media?
every election, that media stick stuff will be a charge.
But like so the poll book cases,
That's the one-time deal.
scanner and ballot boxes,
That's a one-time deal.
ballot boxes.
That's a one-time deal. anything that has to do with my equipment is probably just a one-time deal.
Yeah, so it's $17,623.81 of expenses that we will not have to have this next year, and that's the equipment for the ESNS.
And that's what we're trying to get to the bottom
Right.
of. So there's an overall budget, what things did we purchase last year that we're not gonna have to purchase this year?
Right,
So
right,
it's
yeah.
in lots of different departments.
Right, I think we're pretty secure on all of our equipment at this point in time. They just, if I get ES&S people to get down there and fix what I got.
Yeah, well, and I think because you went from 38,000 to 45, but you've actually spent 40,000 for the year, but 18 of that is
Was
not
the
gonna
thing,
happen.
so, yeah.
Yeah, so,
And I'm, like I say, I don't know how much ES&S is gonna go up on all of their business. I know they've gone up every year, but it shouldn't be any more.
And what elections will you be putting on next year?
We know we've got one in
November.
November, and then possibly one in May.
Which would be
City and schools,
city and school.
but we don't know until, and, right now, that's all we know of.
Okay.
So, and the city and schools, now, what I do with them is like they sign a contract with me to run their elections, and then, let's say ES&S charges us $500 for layout. Well, I take that and divide it between all the entities, and then they send us a check back. So,
We're not really making any money, but we're
no,
getting,
we're getting reimbursed for what ES&S charges us. Yes. Like this last city and school, I think I had 6 entities or 7 entities. Each one of them had to pay like $6,500 to run their elections. The office supplies, I wasn't sure, as far as election expenses went and office supplies. I didn't know if signs went into, those are supplies to me, but they could be election expenses also, I didn't know. So.
Yes, that's gonna.
if y'all are, good like on those signs and that ADA ramp, we need to get it, more
Yeah, I'll just
this
make,
year.
maybe Will go over there and
But
see
that way by
exactly
November,
what we
we've
need.
got it sitting here, it's ready for November, it needs to come out of this budget, it needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't need to wait till October.
Yeah, we need to know too, if the state has any,
Okay.
something, because that's the state highway
Yeah, that's true.
where that ramp's coming up.
So is there any way that might change from that building to somewhere else?
Where? I know they have some, where did they suggest?
I have been told a couple of our ladies are trying to get with the city of Tig, something about their old city building or something that they moved out of and it's just sitting there.
And it is
And it's
88
still
compliant.
precinct 5.
About that Martin School, what's down
Would it have to be if the police department moved out of the old city hall, is the only thing I can think of.
Maybe that's what it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
Yeah,
They're
well,
supposed
It's a lot better
to
place.
be
Well,
in,
that's where early voting was for,
Yeah. Okay.
not where City Hall is now. It's
The old
a
city.
different.
It's a totally different
Where's
building.
City
Jake
Hall?
Fitch knows where it's at, doesn't
City
he?
Hall now.
I
City
don't know.
Hall was a
I
church,
think
so
he-
Right next to the doctor.
across from Scott's old place.
there. Yeah.
But that building
Yeah,
apparently
Kavanaugh
sits
Church, across
empty.
That,
from the church.
Kavanaugh School.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it does, we've heard that it has water, electricity, and ADA compliant, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, City Hall was, I mean, it wouldn't work, because it's privately owned, they don't
Yeah,
own it anymore,
that's what
Steve Island owns it.
Yeah.
Is that where the police department used to be? Across from Scott?
Yeah, they were all in that same building.
yeah, they're in there together.
They
Instead of-
they bought the doctor's office, and the police moved in the doctor's office.
I can call those
I
two
don't know what
ladies
building
and
they're
follow
talking
up
about,
with them.
That's what I'm trying to narrow
They're
down.
not, are they talking about the blue building on 8th Street?
That's something, yeah,
But that would be a
yeah, that would be, that's horrible, it's not even paved
Yeah.
parking.
I mean,
No, whatever this building is, I can't remember what they told us, it has water, electricity, and ADA compliance, because they used to use it with the city in doing some kind of meetings there
Wonder what that is.
and
I
stuff.
can follow
But-
up with the
Yeah,
ladies
Just find out
and
what that
go
is.
look at it and let y'all know.
Yeah, let's find out what that is, because I know, that's a state highway, so I'm sure TxDOT has some kind of you know,
And that's
arrangement.
probably why they just put the little handles on those steps
Yeah.
instead of a ramp,
Can
because
they
they
not
do have
Just think
handles.
about people when we pull up our
Can
shop,
they not
right
use
on
the back
main, let
door to-
somebody out.
Yeah.
No,
So you can be
because
stopped,
the-
that's gonna create an anchor.
our judges, they have to walk from the very front of the building all the way to the back of the building and stuff, and so by the time they got back there, they were gone with the equipment and stuff, and then they'd come back in and vote it for them, and then they'd have to go back out there and stuff, and so people just don't even use
What's
it.
it cost?
Yeah, I mean, that,
Yeah.
that parking lot is back there, that's the city parking.
Yeah, and we told them to use it,
I figured it'd take a couple of dollars, because you're gonna have, I mean.
But there's, they have a wheelchair ramp and everything.
See, and that's what I tell them, and everybody's going, well, they don't know it, I told them put a sign out.
Yeah.
So is that just?
and pointing that way.
If, you know, the back of the building.
That's why I'm saying, you go ahead and get it off.
Yeah, temporary, okay, I didn't see, I didn't say, okay, temporary.
Yeah, but that's an intercept.
Yeah, we just put it out on election
But that,
day.
there's one with handrails on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need one with handrails.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I was thinking, okay, if we don't get one with handrails, possibly we could put it right there where those steps are, because those steps have handrails. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'd get one with handrails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And,
We didn't do it sooner than later.
Yes.
Not what.
Yeah.
next year.
and all those signs, like I said, this curbside voting, we have to have, distance markers, we have to have. Ours are made out of stakes and a printed out piece of paper, which the stakes are all ripped up now. And I bought new stakes when I first started, and used those and reprinted
They
some.
can get them a measuring wheel too, because they don't know where to put it.
Yes, that is true, that is true. And a lot of the EAs do have that measuring wheel. But we use, I think a lot of them use their tape measures that I put in their box. But also in this cost of next year, you know, our judges use those clear plastic storage boxes to carry all their papers and information in. Well, I would like to get them a canvas rolling bag that files it. That way it's filed in there, ABB at the polling location, compensation forms, you know, whatever, and they can just reach in there and pull it out, because as of now, they're having to look through every paper that I put in there in a folder with nothing. I mean, it's just like, let me find it, hold on, let me find it, I gotta find it, because I just put it all in there, because I have no other way of putting it in there. And then they don't have to pick up those heavy tubs, they can roll it to where they need to be. And I've got prices on that at the, it was what, $9.97, I think I had transferred over some money from a couple of other accounts into my supplies list, and I have enough money in my supply list to buy those now. So,
What about due? Do we need to look at changing the due box to
I
get
think
the
so.
protocol and
I
try to
think-
move to the life center?
I think so, because it's gonna, right now, they're requiring us to have a security guard, and that's $575 for a day.
Did we get him paid?
Did the Democratic chair ever send their portion of the money?
No, he had to call SOS and make sure.
I sent him another email yesterday, I think it was
Yesterday.
that asking, you know, about the
The pay.
fixed pay again for the March primary. And as of this morning, when I got in, he still hadn't responded to my email.
So he very well may not pay for it, because of the fact that when I did the contract with the Republican and the Democratic chair, I did not put security in there, because we've never had to have security, so it wasn't in there. And so in talking with law at SOS, they said if it's not in the contract, they do not have to pay it. And if it's not in that contract, I
Well, we
went back
started doing Jake's security back last year
last November,
in November.
because that
And then
required it.
March primary, and we haven't had an election there since.
But I think it would
They
be a
just
good
need
idea
to do the
to.
right thing, it's not
Yeah.
about what's in the contract.
Yes.
It wasn't in the contract.
Yeah, I put it in there now, just in
So
case.
they're owing, what, $225 to do this?
$275, yeah. Now, the Republican chair's already done the
The
check.
Democratic party does require due.
Do school.
Yeah.
I agree.
Wow.
Move it there or to the,
Church.
Do
Well, we
Methodist.
don't. I don't like to do churches because you can't ever predict what they're gonna be using the churches for during early
Yeah,
voting.
that's,
If we have early voting out there, which we very seldom do.
and
We've had it once, I think, but
that's true, and now the way they've changed the laws, we've got a Senate bill they're gonna put into effect this November. They're starting early voting like on a Thursday, and it's gonna run all the way through
Weekends
the
and
weekend,
everything.
all the way up to election day.
election day.
for this November?
Yes,
Yeah, it's, what is it, 2753, Senate Bill
2754, I
54,
think.
53.
I read that, I was just hoping
Yeah.
it wasn't true.
No, it's true. Regardless of any county and how busy they are on the weekends, they're gonna make us all be open on the weekends.
They gonna supplement us?
There it is, son.
Salary right there.
So,
And through the week, it's 12-hour days, including Saturdays, Sundays, it's at least 9-hour days.
So is that figured in on your increase for election workers?
yes, since we only have 2 elections, I think the 30 that I had in there this last year would be plenty, because, you know, our judges are dwindling as we speak, because some of them are just done with it, they're tired, they're over it, they want to do vacations and stuff, and so, a lot of them are, and we've had a couple that have been sick.
Remind me, I got a phone number of a lady, retired school teacher from Fairfield ISD,
Ah,
did probate for her the other day,
uh-huh,
and, she wants to get involved and.
yes, we'll take it,
Tell her to come see
And
me
she's
now.
very knowledgeable.
we'll get her set up,
Yeah.
yeah, we
I
just
got, I
gotta,
got her contact in there.
okay, all right, good deal. Anyway, that's my spiel,
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
yes, thank y'all.
Huh?
Okay.
Leonard's gone.
Yes, yeah, but he had to go down to Black Oak.
Okay. Senior Service is not here. And so, Dan, you got anything?
I think I made,
And you're checked off on his.
Yeah, I gotta be.
I wasn't really prepared, because I didn't really make any.
No, I mean, everything looked good, so I'll just make sure that,
Yeah.
With my mom, I won't even know it.
let's see, any, Mr. Reagan,
How you doing?
anything you need to share with the court today?
I heard there was a rumor that you might need somebody back at that transfer station.
I heard you I heard you already showed back up.
It's too late, it's too late. We already
Late
got
now,
somebody, excuse me, don't be late.
Yeah,
I went out, I talked to Andy about it the years I was out there before and stuff like that, and he told me to go get a boat seat. But I still wish there was some way we could fix that seat on that backhoe. It doesn't swivel, a lot of U2 cans of coal and hammers and everything else.
yeah, no, it's.
And the whole backhoe is out.
Another seat.
use the seat from 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's ripped up all my shirts and everything, and bolts and nails are sticking out of it, and I've beat down everything I could.
yeah.
You got it, I'll take care of it.
There you go.
I'm gonna take this quick and check lines, and I'll take it down there and mount it on there.
And I would say something else if I could, please, they were talking about security and everything, you know, when Jenny was there, she fought for it pretty hard and everything, saying that they need some kind of camera down there that, at the dump and everything and stuff, just for the 3 days, to be able to watch just to make sure if something happened, you know.
What was the deal with the satellite? With the satellite, had to pay with a credit card every month, is that what it was?
Yeah, it's just, we don't,
Yeah, something like that.
well, you know, we went through that with Butler, but we wound up just send a check to the center, they pay it, and it's like reimbursement.
Right.
So,
I ain't worried about that, just,
Well, the deal about that is that's how our cameras work, is all.
oh, yeah.
but he got that line. Got that straight.
Yeah, but the cameras that you can get, they're all wireless. You don't have to run the wires, you don't do nothing, you can route them in a line back
monthly.
All we need is, if we just had the internet down there, Wi-Fi, what's his name?
That's what I'm saying.
You ain't heard of word out
You say somebody else got it.
Hey, when you get around that backhoe, take a picture of that, model number.
Eric's, yeah, but you can't buy, I mean, they don't sell them. Like one fit.
I'll get you a chair. Will you please take that?
Yeah, it's okay, so I forget the number.
Yeah, I just take a picture of that tag number. I got connections.
One thing I mentioned, and I don't see a date on this, but, another unfunded mandate, 911 will soon become NG, 911, new generation. And this is going to require, again, this is a federal mandate that's being passed down to the state, passed down to us. And this just kind of goes through the biggest expense is going to be, which is better to start preparing now, a little bit at a time, because your different costs at the end could be anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000. The longer you wait, the more it will cost. This is going to go into all of our 911 addresses right now that are not at the house, maybe at that person's mailbox by the county road. You may have 5 mailboxes. Everybody's GPS location is that cluster of mailboxes, even though their houses can be
2 miles down the road.
half a mile in private property. And so when a helicopter is looking for a 911 call, they're flying to the mailbox, not to the house. Every county road is going to have to be checked and redone, and it's going to have to be the center of the road when you drive it to do all that. So it's just something that we'll get more information on between now and settle on budget, but it's something that being proactive is going to cheapen the overall cost.
And there is several locations in this county that we put in a GPS, or deputies have put in a GPS to go somewhere. We're nowhere close to that house. It's just where, at one point in time, somebody just pulled up, entered it right there, several of them at one place, and it's not even at the actual location at all. So it does need to be fixed regardless.
That was my comment.
Okay. Thank you for that comment.
Are there any other comments?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I came up there today, I thought the day was Tuesday.
A long vacation we had.
Oh, yeah, I think she was up there.
Second. Have a motion.